Perfect. So we got the first one.
Okay.
If you haven't decided on the end date,
Right.
did you decide on the recording date for the final record yet?
It's done. The record is recorded.
Yeah.
It's already shipped out to the presser.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It's done. The record's
so
done.
it's already done. Okay.
It's done. That's why
Because
I'm here.
I read the recent interview and then it wasn't done yet, so it has just been finished,
Yeah, the
right?
big interview that was on Facebook.
Yeah, the beautiful big.
That was cool because it was actually, that interview occurred through the whole process. Like the beginning of the interview,
Okay,
he
great.
was just emailing me questions and I would answer them when I could. So
I
it
could
went
tell.
through the whole process.
Yeah.
By the time we were at the last questions, the record was done. But in the beginning, we hadn't even started
Okay.
writing the record yet.
Great.
Yeah,
Are you happy with it?
We're very proud of it.
Yeah.
We're
Is it
excited.
like the milestone?
You know, I don't know. It's hard to be too self-analytical,
Yeah.
but I feel very proud of it. I know that we worked hard.
How does it fit into the whole with the others? Would you
I
say?
think
Yeah.
It feels like a pretty natural progression for us, that it takes some brave steps as far as writing songs that aren't your typical safe hardcore songs. There's a little bit more melody in there. There's a lot of emotion attached to the whole vibe of the record, just because we went into it knowing these are going to be the last BANE songs that we ever write. So it's got some heavy emotions to it, but I think that that's consistent with all the stuff. You could go back to the demo and I would say that Both Guns Blazing is a very emotional song.
Yeah.
And we've never been too frightened of that, you know. This one, I just think we really went for it.
How does it fit in live with all the others?
We're going to see. We have not played a single live song.
No.
Tonight will be the first time.
I'm so excited.
Tonight will be the first time. We're going to play 4 new songs tonight. I mean, that's why Oisey from End Hits Record, who's putting the record out here in Europe, brought us here for this weekend. This is to sort of showcase the new
showcase
songs.
for everything.
Yeah.
And you have not, because I was anticipating you have played it already in the US or something. No.
We have not played a show since December, and in December we weren't quite ready to play something new. But we have a new bass player, and we've broken him in, and we're very excited
Okay,
to play
great.
some of these songs.
I always wondered, you named the band BANE, apparently because you like comic books.
Yes,
right?
that is very true.
But I don't think that Batman is the ultimate one. Can you name some of your favorite comic books?
Yeah,
for
I
us?
can. My favorite comic book is an independent comic from an author named David LaFamme. It's called Stray Bullets.
Okay.
It's a crime comic. That's one of my favorite. Another indie comic that I really like a lot is Scud, the Disposable Assassin. SCUD. That was in the 90s, but it's still
doesn't matter.
a favorite.
Paper doesn't get
Yeah, that's true. I like that a lot. I like a lot of like Garth Ennis' stuff, a lot of Frank Miller stuff. The more sort of dark.
Like the dark characters.
Yeah, stuff that can be overly violent and sort of heady.
The first one you named, why especially that one?
Stray Bullets, I don't know, it's just wonderfully written. There's very real characters. It's, you know, it's set in the real world. There's nothing supernatural going on. It's just about bad dudes doing bad things.
So it's kind of Stray Bullets, right?
Exactly. Very Stray Bullets. It's
Okay.
very modern crime. So that's my favorite, and it's actually coming back after like a 10-year hiatus where he just wrote.
Oh, really?
You know, he wrote an issue, and it did not in any way, shape, or form wrap up the series, and then he just stopped. And rumor has he's going to come back and finish it up. So some of me and my nerd friends are pretty excited.
And where did you find him?
Oh, well, there was just a time in the 90s where I was going to a comic book store every week, spending way too much money on comic books.
That's great.
It was a big deal.
And are you drawn more to the villains or more to the good guys? Because BANE, of course, is
Yeah, I like the villains. I mean, I just like any character who's real strong and dynamic. I like the characters that are more about shades of gray, you know, you're not quite sure. And I think that's sort of what I've always been drawn to Batman about, is that, you know, he wasn't clearly a knight in shining armor. He had a pretty dark side to him, and I like that.
How did you think they turned it into the movies? Like, was that good for you?
Yeah, I was pretty impressed, actually. As far as comic book movies go, I would say those 3 are my favorites. Yeah. You liked them as well?
Yes.
I think they were really well done.
Because they're dark.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
I
And
agree.
because Christian Bale was great and Ed Hardy was great.
Tom Hardy,
Tom Hardy,
he
yeah.
did a fantastic job as Bane. You know, obviously Heath Ledger
They're
was legendary.
boys.
Yeah. I was very into those 3 movies.
I always imagined his voice to be like that, and they chose the perfect.
Oh, so you're real into comic books? Oh, that rules.
Yeah, because I think it's an art form.
Yeah.
And some people like don't get it, because they think it's only like
No, they
drawn
just write
pictures
it
or
off,
something,
yeah.
and then they go into a movie or something, and then it's the wrong one. Like I don't know whether you know that. The Spirit
Yeah.
was a really bad movie.
Yeah.
So people judge by that
It's true.
back to the comic books, but the book especially was not so bad. So
I think the Walking Dead comic is 1,000 times better than the television show. I mean, the comic is.
and graphic novels are on the rise and more like like the comic books and the graphic novels, but people still don't appreciate it as a
valid art
yeah,
form. Yeah,
because it's for the nerds, like you
so
said.
for kids.
Yeah, and for kids.
Stuff,
What I thought is when I'm thinking about it, and then read all your interviews you did. Would you say if you're drawn to the villains, talking PMA, is it positive mental attitude for you or pessimistic mental attitude?
No, it's positive.
I know, because I read it from all the interviews.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I don't know. I'd like to think at the end of the day that light overcomes the dark, and that in the end we're all fighting to live in a better world. I just am not so blinded. You know, I don't go through my life with blinders believing that everything is wonderful and shiny, but I definitely have some dark views, and there's a lot of things about mankind that disgusts me and makes me feel like I'm a bit of a renegade going against the path. But at the end of the day, I'm fighting for something positive. Yeah. If I had to choose a path to walk, I'm going to walk with Batman and not the Joker. At the end of the day, I want things to be good, but I'm also able to discuss or to bring my art to darker places because it's real. It's part of the world.
Yeah. So the one cannot exist without the other, right?
Yeah, it's true. One would not have that much fun at all without the other.
And how would you say, in a typical day or on tour or anything, how does the positive mental attitude reflect in your doing or in your saying or just how you carry yourself?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. You know, when you're on tour, you have to interact with a lot of people, and there are people who, you know, they feel some sort of instant connection with you because they've listened to your band for so many years, and you know, the lyrics that I write are fairly personal and invite people in, and so yeah, so you have to be ready for that, for strangers to come up to you, and you have to, and what you reflect is the reflection of the band, is the reflection of the songs. It's like, who are you really? For me, it's always been exciting, and you know, one of my favorite parts of being on tour is meeting new people and interacting with different ideas and being challenged, having people come and tell me, you know, some of our songs are very anti-religious, some of our songs are critical of straight edge, and you know, and I'm always excited when people want to have a debate, when they want to talk.
And they challenge you.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's so much a part of the core of what we're doing here is to you know, shake things up. Not to all of us just go through our lives nodding our head, agreeing with everything. It's like, I don't know anything more than anybody else. I'm just offering my viewpoints, and I like the idea of having that challenge, for sure, yeah.
And so if somebody comes up like with euphoria and it's like, I'm meeting you, and so it's not annoying for you.
No, there are days when you're tired, and there are days when you'd like to be left alone, or you need to write an email, but at the same time, you don't ever want to lose perspective. Like, I wanted this, I wanted to be in a band, and I wanted to come on tour, and I don't ever want to lose sight of how fucking cool it is to be at a hardcore show where kids, they can't come up and just start talking to you. I'm no different than anybody, I'm no better than anybody, and I don't ever want someone to feel that way about me. Yeah, but there's a lot of ways that positivity, you know, there are times where you want to fucking strangle your guitar player, but you can't do it, and you have to find a way to coexist together, and just, you know, we're in this together, and he's suffering through the same uncomforts that I'm suffering through, and at the end of the day, you're on the same side, you know. So every day, for me, on tour particularly, you have to struggle with your mental space, and I think positive is definitely better than being poisonous and negative, and just, you know, trying to find the worst and everything all the time.
Because it ruins everything,
it's just
right?
exhausting. It's just brutal. When you're with somebody who just can't take the effort to find the good in a situation. You don't just write it off and dismiss it. This sucks. This is the worst. This fucking sucks. It's exhausting.
What are the bands you were coming up to when you were a teenager, young, or in your 20s or something? What are those bands?
Well, I came up right in the late 80s, so when I sort of started going to shows is when it was at a very magical place, when the bands were Youth of Today and Bold, and I saw Grooves Skits countless times, and Straight Ahead and Side by Side. That was really the music that most spoke to me when I, you know, really fell in love with what was going on here. And then sort of extended to what was going on in Washington, D.C. with bands like Embrace and Rites of Spring, some of that stuff I loved. And I loved some of the more metallic shit like the Cro-Mags and Big Way and that stuff really stuck to me. Yeah.
And did they treat you nicely when you came out to them?
Youth of Today did. Youth of Today definitely sort of set an example for me that I never forgot. That they were pretty mythical in my eyes. I mean, when that band played on stage, there was nothing like it. They were larger than life. They were all in great shape and had these great bodies, tanned, had the most energy. They had more energy than any band you've ever seen. And Ray had, the most jaw-dropping things to say. He was just mesmerizing. But then after the show, you could approach them like they were just kids that you would skate in the park with, and they were very accommodating, and they made me feel like I was a part of something. And that band really made me excited to consider myself straight edge and a positive person, and to hold the mythical aesthetic really took hold. And a big part of it is because of how inviting they were, how they really felt like there was no separation whatsoever. And when I joined BANE, I definitely wanted. I mean, I never expected that any kid would ever want to come up and talk to me, but when it started happening, I wanted to give back that same feeling, especially to the younger kids who are overwhelmed, don't quite understand it yet. I wanted to make them feel as welcome as possible, for sure.
Positive.
Yeah, positive. Yeah, we're a positive band.
Yeah, and you like to eat burritos.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, you have spies back in Boston or something?
No, it's on the Facebook page. Just in the info box.
Okay, yeah. We are big fans of this place in America called Chipotle.
What's your favorite composition of a burrito? Okay. What has to be the perfect burrito?
A lot of cheese. And I'm sorry to the vegans out there.
That's no problem.
But yeah,
you're positive too.
I like brown rice, black beans, and then a couple different flavors of salsa, not too spicy, with a lot of cheese.
Okay.
And lately I haven't been getting it in a burrito, I've been getting it in a bowl.
Okay.
I get it into a burrito bowl and I just dip tortilla chips into it.
Oh, very nice.
So I don't eat the wrap, because the wrap I guess is it's not really healthy.
It's strained, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so chewy.
Yeah.
Something about it.
I mean, I had a burrito, an actual burrito for the first time in months the other day, just before leaving for this tour.
Okay.
And there's a big chain back in America called Chipotle, and now the Chipotle in Boston have the vegetarian meat, where they haven't had that in forever. We've been hearing about it. Oh, they have it in Berkeley. Oh, they have it here. Finally, they had it at the Chipotle right down the street from my house.
Okay.
Me and our new bass player James went down there, and it was dynamite.
Yeah?
Yeah, it really kicked. I can't wait to go home and have it.
Yeah, that's great. And if you all were the Ninja Turtles, what kind of visionary burrito would be very awesome or kind of strange or anything like that? Because they put all stuff that doesn't match to
on their
pizza.
pizzas?
Yeah. What would be the fantasy burrito? If you could put anything
I mean,
in
just more veg sausage, I guess just big, thick, chewy chunks of vegetarian sausage.
Like a currywurst.
No, just spicy Italian, just big chunks of sausage. When I make pasta at home, I always buy this pack of vegetarian sausage, and I just chop them up into chunks and put it in. I can't eat spaghetti if doesn't have some sort of chunky, chopped up chicken pieces, like vegetarian chicken nuggets. Yeah. So I would love to have. But now Chipotle has the fake meat,
so they already did your
I don't like weird shit. I don't like when they put pineapple on pizza. I'm very traditional.
That's good. When you talked about Youth of Today and the Gorilla Biscuits and everything, did you go yourself with BANE back to the venues they played in when you were young? Yes?
Nah, I mean, some of them closed down. There was a classic venue in Connecticut called the Anthrax that I spent a lot of time in as a kid, and that's gone now. BANE never got a chance, but we got to play CBGB's, and that's
hello.
Yeah, I mean, that was also a spot that I went to when I was 16, 17 years old, and to be able to go back there and play some actually really good shows there, being on that stage where, my favorite bands, Burn, fucking straight ahead, rocked that stage, and then being able to be on the exact same stage and get a good response was
Isn't that
really
great?
excellent. And then we got to do it in at the venue in Berkeley, California. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. What is it called? Gilman Street.
Okay.
Which is another legendary 80s club where all those
it's still existing.
Yeah, it's still there.
So you mentioned only one that closed down. So it's a little percentage that closed. So still.
Yeah,
some-
well, there was a venue in Boston called the Channel that actually was the home of the first show that I ever saw, and that was gone by the time we started playing. But then there was a venue called the Rat, which is where I saw Youth Today for the first time and saw a lot of really great shows as a kid. And we did get to play there once, just before it closed.
So location size is still there, scene is still there.
In Boston?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, we're thriving. Man. Things are great.
Very
in Boston.
good.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been lucky as far as being able to play some of the legendary venues in some of the places that I went to as a kid, like the venue in my hometown of Worcester, Massachusetts, where we actually booked our first shows. It was a place called the Quinsigamond Village Community Center, and years later, BANE got to go there and do like record release shows there and play that stage, and it was really cool.
Dynamite.
Yeah, because like when I was 15, it was right down the street from my house. I used to, go see bands there.
And you're like smiling and glowing and everything when you tell me, so you don't feel old, right? It's just experience, right?
My knees feel old.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah, my knees feel old, but
yeah.
I feel like there's got to be something wrong with me because I still feel as excited about this as I was when I was 22. I mean, my brain just can't seem to let go of this community of ours. And I'm starting to feel like, God damn, you get to an age, dude, where you're gonna stick out like a sore fucking thumb. You're not gonna fit in anymore. You're gonna be this crazy old dude in the corner, and like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not.
I don't
I'm not
think
sure
that
what's gonna happen.
will happen.
Well, we'll
because
see.
I think most of the time when I talk to other people as well and other bands as well, I think it keeps you young at heart. It's so cheesy to say that, but it's like, I'm 32.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like 22.
Yeah,
My knees don't, but that's not the matter. The matter is up here.
I know. As cheesy as it sounds, there's no way that anyone is going to convince me otherwise. That this scene keeps you fucking young.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt. I can just start naming off people who I know that are in their late 30s and in their 40s and that still love this, and you just wouldn't know that they're the age that they are. I mean, it really is about attitude. And if you want to stay young, if you don't believe that you're some old person who's like come to the end of their lives and now you have to worry about your family and your career and mowing the lawn, I feel like your body rebels. Your body senses that.
It does.
And all of a sudden the hair starts falling out and your gut comes over here. But if you just believe that you're young, just believe that you're still vital, then the body follows. I wouldn't have believed it if you told me that, but...
Me neither. It's just like, because it's not the mainstream. It's not like the other world.
Yeah.
I always see like a little world inside itself, and most of the time I don't see any ageism, so to speak. I never experienced that. And I think that is something that is special to this scene. You can talk shit about anything that happens, like with the vegans and then the meatheads and the straight edgers and the drunks and everything. But at the end of the day, I think if you, for example, have you ever been to Fluff?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because that wasn't when you were there, so that's too bad.
This year we'll be back. This year we'll play Fluff. You'll be there?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we do a follow-up.
It's my favorite festival on earth.
Yeah.
It's the greatest festival we've ever played by far.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm so excited.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, we always, if you have a daytime job and everything for making money and stuff, you just save up to do the trips, and then you book the vacation. Like you have to, at work, you have to say what are your days off. The first days off we take out for Fluff Fest.
Fluff every year. Nice.
Yeah.
It's a great festival.
Yeah.
And I think what you were going to say is true. At Fluff, you'll see 50-year-old guys who fucking love hardcore.
Right. That's the thing I
Grew
just
up
said.
in that scene, and then there's young kids, and they all are coexisting, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
And they eat all the delicious food.
Yeah. Oh, I ate some really good food at Fluff that day.
Yeah. That's so great. Oh, I'm looking so much
I'm
forward
going to try to get them to let me DJ there this year. I want to DJ one of those
I want that
tents
too.
so bad.
Yeah.
I want to do it so bad.
Oh, they have to. They just have to.
Yeah.
That's great. I have to just... because of the ageism thing, you're doing a tour with Boys at Fire.
Yeah, last year.
And they're all dudes too.
Yeah.
So how was that?
Great.
Did you enjoy it? Because
I loved it.
I think they're like a landmark as well, if you consider a scene. Of course, their sound has changed. I'm not so much listening to them anymore.
Yeah.
Like I've done 10 years before or something. But I think it's something that is like a constant thing that's going on, and is there something you would say about those guys that is something special about them?
Yeah, I mean, the thing really is that they are older dudes and they've been doing this for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And now they're doing it purely for the love of it,
Yeah.
purely because they just can't seem to get it out of their fucking system, even though life has gotten crazy for them, and now there are children involved in houses and a lot of responsibilities, and that they still just love it. They still just want to play these songs, and it means something to them. And I think we have a lot in common as far as just coming from that world. Maybe people whose expiration date might have gone off a few years ago, but we just don't care. And we had a lot of fun together. You know, obviously we had a lot of friends in common. We played shows together 15 years ago, so it was good. It was good to be back with them. And always touring with a band when you're on a bus, which is something that BANE doesn't do very often. It's very rare. It's always a treat for us when we get to be on a bus. And this was one of those tours. And then you really get to know the band. So you party together, you stay up all night together, you see them at their best and also at their worst. And it just really, it forms a pretty strong bond.
That's great.
So we had fun. Yeah, great dudes for sure. I would tour with them again in a heartbeat. And they're huge over here. People love it. We got to play to a lot of really big crowds who we would not normally have paid any attention to.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was very nice of them to bring out a hardcore band and to treat us as complete equals, because they didn't do that.
They didn't.
They
So
did.
what's another great thing that came with all the history of the band?
It's true.
Another thing that came with the history of the band is that I see BANE merch more than any other merch on our shows. That is something that also other interviewers mentioned, because it's unbelievable.
Still? I feel like I see less and less, but maybe
but the thing is that I've been living all over the place in Germany, like in Berlin for several years, and then right now I'm from the southwest, and still it is an item, and it's not only because it's to pose with it or something, just because you're a great band. It's like the percentage is extremely high, and what I was wondering when I was thinking about this interview, because there were several other bands that broke up and said we're never gonna get back together, and then they did again reunite, because they, I would say, they wanted to sell merch. It was like unbroken. I don't know whether you can say that, but it seemed that as if you do another vinyl edition, especially for a reunion show, and then you sell merch and everything. Is that something you would see completely out of the picture, that you would do it if you would needed it to, but you would do it if you wanted it to?
No, I don't do this for the money. We don't make enough money for this to matter ever. There's no way. I'm pretty sure if we make the announcement, like I said, we haven't announced anything yet, but if we make the announcement, this is it, then I'm going to stick to that. That I'm a man of my word, and I'm not going to come back for any reason. Maybe if there was a very extreme situation where somebody needed us to do a benefit because somebody was dying or something, then I'm not going to say no if the situation warrants we need to do this to help a loved one. But I mean, the money's not that, it's not that much money even at the highest level. So I would never come back because we needed to make a fucking buck. I'd like to think that we're going to run, this is going to run its course, and we're going to give it everything we have, and then when it's time to walk away, there's nothing left to give. There's no reasons to keep going. And the reason that the conversation started is because I feel like we're getting close to that point. It's probably getting time to say goodbye and to make an end to strategy. And when BANE is done, I am going away. I am going to start the next chapter of my life. I've been sitting here in the same place in my life, not really doing much, because I always wanted BANE to come first. I wanted to be able to say yes. When BANE needed to go or to do something, I wanted to be ready and not be caught up in a situation that would be hard for me to walk away from. And that's a flaw in me, is that I get very comfortable and I get very lazy, and if something is working, then I don't fuck with it. But now I'm at the point where I'm really excited to know what's next, man. What else is there? I want a new challenge. I want a new mountain to climb.
Do you know already what could be that challenge?
No, I won't know until I'm faced with it.
Because life is always a glimpse and a glance of the moment, right? And I could ask you, I thought about that. What are you going to do if the band is over? Okay, it's, well, you said it. Maybe 2 or 3 tours are going to have passed in the moment when you are asking yourself what will be my next challenge?
Yeah.
Do you think you will need another creative outlet?
Oh, 100%. I will have to write. I will have to continue to write.
I thought that too, because that is something you would miss so much if you haven't had.
Yeah, even when BANE goes too long without writing songs, I get really restless and need to write stories and need to be challenged somewhat artistically. I will definitely write more. I actually think I'm going to write comic books, to be honest. I think I'm going to concentrate on writing a comic book. But yeah, I mean, I will write, and I will probably take poker a little more seriously than I have, and then I will just, I think I'll get the fuck out of Massachusetts, get out of the cold, get away from these boys for a while, and just see. Yeah.
Into the sun.
Yeah, I like
for
that.
example.
I like that.
And you need something to exercise, because I think this is something that keeps you going apart from the knees.
It is my most consistent physical outlet. So yeah, when that's taken away from me.
You don't want a gut, right?
Don't want a gut. And, you know, I mean, I ride a bike, I ride my bicycle all the time, but I think you're right. I think when this is done, I'll have to like get into racquetball or playing a little more tennis or something like that.
Or the knees.
For the knees, I just want to stay active. I don't want to be a dude who just gets really, really old.
Yeah,
I'm scared.
that's true. Because like I think energy, like this, a little room and people moving, is also something that keeps you young and vital, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it does.
Here and in there.
The other day at the airport, James and I, our new bass player, we had to run to meet the plane, and so we're running. And I was, you know, it's been a long winter. I haven't been doing much. There's been snow everywhere, so I haven't been riding my bike very much. And I'm running, and I was like, fuck, it feels so good to run, man. I'm so glad that I can still like run. You know? So I hope, when the BANE is done, I will find other physical outlets, for sure. Because this is a big one for me. I'm really lucky to be able to come onto our tour. It's like 30 days every night, having this 45 minutes where you can just go off and dance and jump and throw yourself around. It's going to be sad to have that not be a thing anymore.
You will find something.
I hope so.
I think so too.
Try.
Yeah, so I'm done with all the questions.
What a great interview.
Yeah.
This was so good.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We can absolutely do a follow-up at Fluff if you'd like. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then the record will be out. You'll have new questions to ask.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.